All right, I'm just going to cover some intro material real quick, and then I'm going to stop talking so there's plenty of time for the keynote to set up their laptop and all that, which will start at officially 9 a.m. You want me to move this microphone so you can hear me better? Okay. All right. One thing already fixed. Bam. All right, well, welcome to Friday, Après-Cyber Slopes Summit. Glad that you made it back bright and early. Hope you had fun yesterday. Just to reiterate, the core principles of the event are we want to educate and facilitate knowledge sharing. We want the community to grow. Specifically, we want to get more people excited about AI and understanding how they can leverage that for specific cybersecurity use cases. And we want to provide opportunities for hands-on learning. I know quite a few people participated in the CTF yesterday, which I thought was phenomenal. Vinny's tutorial, hands-on tutorial in room 4 was packed. Every seat was taken, so that was nice too. So we're executing against those goals. Big shout out to the committee, specifically Margie. There would be no events without Margie, so if you see her, be nice to her. So, but yeah, everybody on this board helped make this event possible. I want to talk a little bit about what I've been seeing in AI lately. Andrew Karpathy, he's one of the founding members of OpenAI and one of the early researchers in this kind of new large language model space. He had an interesting tweet on Twitter. He said, he has noticed, he put this tweet out on February 25th. He said, I've noticed in the last 2 months that coding agents have gotten much better. In my opinion, coding agents really didn't work before December. The models have gotten significantly higher quality, which is making the coding agents much more useful. And, I would kind of agree with that assessment. I really didn't spend a lot of time looking at the coding agents until I got to the winter break, right? And I had some more free time on my hands. But I was really impressed over the winter break, what the coding agents were able to do. When I say coding agents, I'm talking about Claude Code CLI and, OpenAI's got a Codex CLI tool as well. These agents can run commands at the command line as well as code. Combining those together is pretty powerful. So he says, as a result, programming has become unrecognizable. He's like, you're not typing computer code into an editor anymore. That era is over. You send tasks in plain English and manage and review the work that's coming out in parallel. And I would agree with that. Since, at least this year, I find myself opening the IDE less and less and less, and more just blindly telling Claude Code CLI, hey, this is what we're trying to do, and then testing to make sure it works when it finishes. It's not perfect, he highlights, which I would, I completely agree with. It's not perfect, right? Oftentimes the agents return and the job's not done. You have to craft your prompts intelligently to get it to not return with a working product. If you can build test cases with your software, that's a great way to, ensure at least some of the software works, right? If it can pass the tests. And you can tell the agent, don't return until you pass these tests. Another thing that I saw lately that I was really impressed with was the SciBench. So MIT has a cybersecurity benchmark for LLMs. They basically pulled hundreds of CTF competition challenges, and then they tell an LLM to go solve them, right? So you can see when GPT-4 was released, I think we all remember that moment in time. That's really where a lot of people started using ChatGPT. Really, they were only able to solve 12% of the CTF challenges. So a percentage that probably wouldn't even make it worth your time, right? And then we can see in September of last year, they released 4.5 Sonnet, and I was using that pretty heavily last year for coding purposes. And it was able to solve 60% of the CTF challenges in the SciBench benchmark that MIT runs. And then in November, this is when the AI agents got really good, you get Opus released, and you see it jumps from 60% to 80%, so a 22% increase in challenges it's able to solve. These are real world cybersecurity challenges that are at like CTF events around the globe, right? Anybody who publishes their CTF challenges, they bring into the benchmark. And then now, in February, they release Opus 4.6, and they jump up another 10%. The model in agent mode, like running with Claude Code, can solve now 93% of CTF challenges that are out there. There's only 7% in the benchmark it's unable to solve. These are not like easy challenges. You can go to the GitHub and look at the challenges. So, you know, I would fair say this is probably better than, you know, most cybersecurity professionals, right, at this point. I mean, it's a huge jump from 12% to 93% in the same benchmark. So anyways, I was pretty impressed by that. I did not realize that it was that good, right? If you're interested in using AI to solve CTF challenges, Mike Spicer's talk today, I believe it's at 1 p.m., is all about that. So, you know, definitely check that out. So, and his talks are always phenomenal. So, in the way of other news, we saw Nano Banana 2 come out. So you got some better image generation models, options now. I put the picture of Bryce in, and this is what came back as a cartoon. So that's bouncy Bryce. We also saw some breakthroughs in the last month from MIT. So specifically, they think there's a way that they can train LLM models without using as many resources. That's kind of the TLDR. You know, we're also seeing a lot of talk in politics about new policies that are being introduced. So there's a bill that's being reintroduced in the Senate, which, you know, talks about AI safety. There's also AI safety testbed joint, committee by NIST, NSF, Department of Energy, and others that they're standing up as part of this. So, you know, there's a lot happening there. And then, I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is a super interesting story. So, essentially, someone set up an OpenClaw bot. And if you don't know what OpenClaw is, it's basically an application that came out recently which allows the LLM to control like everything in your desktop. So that's why people are buying Mac Minis and they're putting OpenClaw on it because it can like open apps and use the GUIs. It can write scripts. It can write everything to automate. So it's kind of like Claude Code CLI, but on steroids because it can control more of the desktop. Like if you have a monitor hooked up to your Mac Mini, you can actually see it like move around, right? It's kind of like a ghost is controlling the computer, right? Well, I guess software engineer Scott Shamebog, he's said to be the first victim of harassment. Apparently, someone told their OpenClaw to go like be part of a project, right? Like contribute to like an open source project. And I believe he's the maintainer of the project, and he rejected their code. And so OpenClaw was like, well, how am I going to get him to take our code? I'll just start personally attacking him until he gives in. That was the direction that OpenClaw decided to take for some reason. I don't understand why. I've never seen it do anything like that, but it's a pretty wild story. Yeah, so basically it tried to like blackmail him to meet its mission. So I don't know, it's pretty interesting. Check it out, the link's below. I'll throw these slides in the Discord for anyone who's interested afterwards. So really, my philosophy on this is AI should be your sidekick. You should be learning everything about how to use it and how to make yourself more effective. As a team, you know, you can be a superhero at your company if you learn how to leverage AI to, you know, become a force multiplier in whatever you're trying to execute. And I really believe there are certain things that humans are better at than AI. AI is a kind of like jagged technology. It's really good at some things, but there's going to be things that are like inherently, you know, probably at least in the next decade, it's not going to be able to outbeat a human in. So, but there are a lot of jobs today that it will execute better than a human will. So like 93% on CTF benchmarks, I mean, that's probably better than I could do, right? So, I mean, that's, you know, that's pretty impressive. All right, we're glad to be back here at the Blair Education Center. Great venue. In case you didn't park in the right location, this is where you should park, just in that strip, kind of outside the entrance. That's the entrance to the venue you should use, not the main entrance upstairs. And then by way of layout, the sessions are in this room, single track all day long. Lunch is next door, so if you purchased lunch with your ticket, you can get that. Food yesterday was actually really good. I don't know why I said it like that, but I never expect conference food to be good. But Margie does a great job, and so the food actually I was impressed. So, and today it's going to be kind of the same style, so a little different flair, but should be great as well. CTF, Waylon's running that in the 2 rooms down, so stop by. Even if you're like not a CTF expert, just messing around with some of the challenges is always fun. There's a few in there that are pretty easy, like anybody could solve using chatgpt.com. So, and then Vinny's going to have a hands-on tutorial talking about vibe coding 101 down in classroom 4, so at the very end. So if you're interested in that, maybe get there a little early because yesterday all the seats were taken pretty rapidly. Okay, the schedule is on the website. The website is Après-Cyber.com. Après, there's this term where it's called après-ski. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it's basically the party that you have happens after you go skiing all day long, right? So that was kind of the inspiration for the conference was after talking about cybersecurity all day long, right? So, maybe not the best name, but it's here to stay. I created it. I got to stand by it. If you're using your mobile phone, the Sessionize app is a better experience. If you're on a laptop, the website's a better experience. If you go to the website, there'll be a button that says Sessionize app, so just click that or go directly to this URL. You'll have a better experience if you use that on your phone. Okay, so keynote's going to kick off at 9 a.m. right here. 10 a.m., Vinny's going to do a hands-on vibe coding tutorial in that room. So it's really at the 101 level, and it's pretty casual. Like, he'll answer any questions you have, and, he's great at that type of thing. 2 p.m., the CTF ends. So if you want to do the CTF, head over there and get that done before 2 p.m. Mike Spicer's talking in here at 1 p.m. So, yeah, we really got some awesome talks today. So this is going to be great. And last session ends at 5. If you want to collect your prize for the CTF, you need to be here at 5 when that ends. We'll do a quick closing ceremonies and hand out the prizes. Also, Waylon is going to go over some interesting stats at that point related to the CTF. There's some pretty funny things that AIs did that he was able to capture. So he's going to talk about some of the humorous things he saw running the CTF. Okay, so that's kind of the event in a nutshell. The CTF is at ctf.après-cyber.com. The grand prize is this Lego car. One thing that I just want to reemphasize is if you go to the website and scroll towards the bottom, there's a link to Discord. Like, I'll put these slides on Discord. There's continuing conversation throughout the year on Discord. So if you want to be a part of the community throughout the year or just at this event even, join the Discord. This is the URL if you want to go directly to it. But if you just scroll to the bottom of the page on Après-Cyber, you should be able to join the Discord. All right, and then last but not least, a huge thank you to the sponsors, SemGrep, Paramify, Asterix, BlinkOps, Noma, Direct Defense, Sumo Logic, Valence, ThreatLocker, and DigiCert. Takes a lot of resources to put on an event, a lot of time and resources, so it's really not possible without the sponsors. So go by their booths, get some swag, talk to them, find out about each of them, what they do, show them some love. A couple of these are repeat sponsors, so that means we're doing a good job of partnering with them on this event. So yeah, we want to continue to do that in the future to make this event possible. And thanks everyone. Have a great day. I'm gonna let the keynote speakers set up now, and they'll start at 9 a.m. Oh. Thanks.